some reaction. I just want you. Girl, I like the way you move. Really want.
It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbin Minds. Welcome. My name is Obi-Uchendu. Thanks for joining us today. Brand new month, September. The year is fast running away. It feels like just yesterday we were saying Happy New Year to everyone. 2017 is fast gone. 2018 is going to bring a lot of politics, and we know what that means for Nigeria. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be talking a lot on the show today about a lot of things, but as usual, we'll be starting off looking back at the last week and all of the, the news that that caught our eye in the headlines. And I have here with me Ahmed Agbabiaka. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, there's a few things I want to run by. I think let's start with the floods because it's been big news, especially in the international media. The United States has had their own fair share. Most parts of Asia, India were seriously hit, but Nigeria has had a series now. There's been Lagos, there's been Asaba, there's been Suleja. Benue is the one now that's the pictures are pretty scary, and I think even scarier is the fact that so many lives have been lost. And I don't know, a lot of people are not very comfortable with the response of government. With the United States, for example, as with all the flack that President Trump gets, he's been there twice now, yes, on ground with the First Lady to see things for himself and, make certain promises and reassure those who are affected by these. Mr. President, I think we've gotten a few tweets talking about Nigeria now from President Buhari, and I think that's been pretty much it. And the tweet even came a couple of days late. And the response has just not been very satisfying. What do you think about that?
Well, specifically about Nigeria, I think there's a need for more capacity building in our responses to emergencies like this. If you see the pictures in other climes, in China and other places in the world, it is much more scarier, So, looking at what is happening, the very strong need for us to build our capacity to respond to this and also make very, very good preparations in case these things happen. Nobody ever thought, will ever think that Benue, people will be like Lagos. Lagos should be much more affected, places that are riverine, that are coastal areas, coastal states. But the way it's happening now, I think the government needs to gear up the emergency responses that we do in this, that we offer in this country. Worldwide, I think it's a call to much more concern about global warming, because whether we like it or not, that is the reason why all this is happening. Yeah, so
but I'm still talking about the response of Mr. President now, because a lot of times, we talk about body language, and that was one of the biggest reasons why he was elected. Okay. We say, oh, his body language is enough to fight corruption. We heard a lot of that during the campaigns. And going back to, I remember, I think it was when Hurricane Katrina happened in the United States. Yes. It was one of the reasons why President Bush's approval ratings went extremely low because of that picture of him in a plane looking down on Katrina. And it was like there was no empathy. Looking at this situation now, I mean, are we going to excuse this now because of Mr. President's health? Nobody's saying he should necessarily go there, but do you feel like the response from him in particular has been adequate?
Him tweeting about it is one good thing that I feel is welcoming about the presidency. Now, most importantly now is our capacity, to actually address this. There have been cries here and there about those that were moved to IDP camps, from their areas, especially in Benue. And there's this much more cry about the kind of facilities or the kind of services that were provided by our emergency response agencies. So I believe that those are the kind of things we should look at right now. In the time past, we can't do more than our capacity. We can't do more than it. So the best thing is for us to prepare more and much more prepared, especially looking at, there are a lot of projections from the meteorological agency about these things. And there's this cry, this frequent announcements, sustained announcement and awareness creation that people should move away from flood-prone areas. But moving away from flood-prone areas like we have in Nigeria, where are they moving to? Where are the people moving to? So I believe if that was done, the number of casualties will be much more reduced. Don't forget don't let's shy away from the fact that these casualties are even much more higher than what is reported in the international media. That's for the incident that happened in the Western world, in the much more developed countries. So, but what we have here is the fact that, you know, you would never see anybody floating on water. You never see a dead corpse or anything in the US, but a whole number of people died. But in Nigeria, even if it were 2 people, even if it were 4 people, you know, the picture are so gory. So, but I think much more, the president is not just about visiting there. Visiting the place is just one media hype that I just feel does not solve the problem. But actually providing services and so-called to those that are affected, their families, you know, and their properties, the human and material loss that have been incurred. I think that is the best thing to do now. So the president can be in Daura and ensure that the agencies that are involved or that are that should be involved.
You shouldn't be there, rather, but
no, yeah, well. So, but that's just the thing. The most important thing is getting services and so-called to those that are affected in the flood.
You talked about global warming there, and I wonder, where do you see Nigeria in that picture? Because, I mean, do you see an active sort of, how do I put it now? I mean, do you see Nigeria going towards that direction with regards to, I mean, we've signed all of the accords, we've signed all of the agreements, we've ratified, but are we really doing anything active?
Well, we've done our responsibility by virtue of the strata that we belong in terms of development in the countries in the nations of the world. So Nigeria is a third world country that is not necessarily an industrial country that contributes more.
Our generators are doing enough.
Yes, that contribute more to global warming like we have in China and other places and the US and European countries, industrialized countries. So I think we are doing our best, at least by signing the treaty and also staying put, not going the way of the United States of America that say they are pulling out of the treaty, you know. So, but the treaty, you know, on on global warming. So I think it's a good one that we are there right now. So, and I think that again will spur the international community to help respond, you know, to what's the kind of calamity, disaster that we are facing right now. So I think it's a good one.